Hello dear students, today we will discuss about one derivation. So that's one is energy of electron in a particular orbit. Okay, so expression for the energy of an electron in hydrogen atom in terms of radius using Rutherford model of an atom. Okay, so you already know that Rutherford atomic model. It means electron revolving around the nucleus, like a sun and planets. You already know that these things. And suppose electron revolving around the nucleus, in between we consider that electrostatic force. So this electrostatic force is nothing but a Coulomb force. Okay, so this reason here we consider that suppose, so this one is a nucleus, and a charge of this nucleus we consider that as Ze. It means a plus. Why? Because so this nucleus made up of protons and neutrons. So this reason the charge we consider that a positive. It means a center part. It means core of atoms. So that's when we consider that a nucleus. You already know that a Rutherford atomic model. Okay, and here we consider that this one is a particular orbit. Is electron revolving around the nucleus. So electron revolving around the nucleus. And here the velocity of an electron we consider that a v. So velocity of an electron v, and a charge of electron, so that's one we consider that a negative, and a charge of a nucleus, so that's one is a positive. So this reason here we consider that a plus Ze. Yes, E we consider that a magnitude of a charge. Even if you consider that a positive or a negative, E is a magnitude of a charge, Z is a atomic number. Atomic number is nothing but a number of protons present in the nucleus. So that's one is a atomic number. Yes, for example, we consider that hydrogen. In hydrogen only one proton is there. So this reason, so atomic number is 1. Helium, so 2 protons. Number we consider that 2. Yes, so Z is a atomic number. It means a number of protons present in the nucleus. And E we consider that a charge on a particle. For example, proton. Otherwise we consider that a electron. Okay, so here we consider that a charge on proton. Okay, so Ze is a charge on nucleus. So charge on nucleus. And E we consider that a charge on electron. Charge on electron. And V velocity of a electron. Velocity of a electron. Okay, so here we want to calculate energy of a electron in a particular orbit. Okay, so we want to calculate energy. It means an electron revolving around the nucleus. It means electron, it is in a motion. Due to the motion, so electron get a kinetic energy. And here we consider that a positive charge. So nucleus charge we consider that a positive. So this reason here we get a potential energy. It means electrical potential energy. Yes, so that's way here, so these electrons gain kinetic energy as well as a potential energy. So this reason in a stable orbit, or we consider that in particular orbit, the electron get a kinetic energy as well as potential energy. So this reason the total energy is nothing but a kinetic energy plus a potential energy. Yes. First one, the kinetic energy due to motion of electrons in a orbit, and potential energy due to charge on a nucleus. So potential energy as well as a kinetic energy. For stable orbit, the total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. For stable orbit, total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. So this reason here electron revolving around the nucleus. So this reason, so this electrons gains energy. So that's one is kinetic energy due to its motion. The presence of a nucleus, a charge on a nucleus. So here we get a potential energy. So this reason the total energy for a stable orbit is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Okay, so here electron revolving around the nucleus because in between we get electrostatic force. Because two charges, one is a positive charge on nucleus, another one we consider that electron, so negative charge particle. So this reason here we get electrostatic force. In between we get electrostatic force. So this electrostatic force act like a centripetal force. Electrostatic force act like a centripetal force. So this reason, so this electron revolving around the nucleus. Okay, so centripetal force is equal to electrostatic force because so electrostatic force act like a centripetal force. So this reason electron revolving around the nucleus. Okay, so this reason centripetal force is equal to electrostatic force. Electrostatic force. Okay, so centripetal force mv square divided by r, and here electrostatic force. Okay, we consider that a Coulomb force. It means 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r square. Okay, so q1 q2 divided by r square. So q1 is a charge on first particle, q2 is a charge on second particle. R square we consider that a distance between two charges. Okay, so here also, so this one is a charged particle and a nucleus also having a particular charge, and in between distance we consider that a radius of this orbit. Radius of orbit. So this reason here the charge, first charge we consider that a plus Ze, and the second charge particle we consider that electron E divided by r square. Okay, so mv square divided by r is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze into E divided by r square. Okay, so Ze into E, it means Ze square divided by r square. Here we consider that two charges, magnitude of product of 2 point charges. Okay, so next one. The first we want to calculate kinetic energy, then afterwards potential energy. If we add these two energy, then we get a total energy of a orbit. Okay, so this reason here we consider that the first one we want to calculate a kinetic energy for kinetic energy. So kinetic energy, you know that formula, half mv square. So kinetic energy is nothing but half mv square, but here we consider that mv square divided by r. Okay, mv square divided by r is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Z E square. Why? Because E into E square divided by R square. So R square and R cancel. Yes. So R square, R and cancel, and both side multiply 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Okay. So this reason half mv square. Okay. So half mv square. So half mv square means kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Z E square divided by Z E square divided by 2r. Yes, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Z E square divided by 2r. So this one is the kinetic energy. Okay, equation 1. Next we want to calculate potential energy. So potential energy. So here we consider that two charges, one is a charge on nucleus, another one is a charge on electron. Okay, so for potential energy, Here we consider that 2 point charges, one is ZE, another one we consider that E. So E we consider that a negative sign. E is a negative sign and ZE is a positive sign. Okay, we want to calculate potential energy means, so here must and should consider that a sign of a charges. It is positive, otherwise negative. But in a Coulomb force we don't consider that a sign. Whether if we consider that a positive charge or negative charge, we consider that only magnitude of a product of a 2 point charges. But here we consider that a sign of a charges. Okay, so this reason the potential energy is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R. So Q1 ZE, Q2 minus E, we consider that a sign, but here we don't consider that a sign because, so this one is a Coulomb force and here we consider that a potential energy. It means electrostatic potential energy divided by R. Okay, so that's reason the potential energy is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So before writing this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, so first I will write minus into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square divided by R. Okay, equation 2. So kinetic energy and the potential energy. Okay, we want to calculate total energy means so kinetic energy plus potential energy. Okay, so for stable orbit, so energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. So this reason here we consider that energy E, it means the total energy E is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Okay, so total energy is equal to first kinetic energy. So kinetic energy 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Z E square divided by ZE square divided by 2R and potential energy plus into minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square divided by R. Okay, so take a common term 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, take common 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and here ZE square and here also ZE square. Okay, so ZE square and here R is there and here also R divided by R and in this equation 1 by 2 is there and here 1. So this reason, so 1 by 2 minus 1. So 1 by 2 minus 1, it means minus 1 by 2 is, so this reason the total energy here, total energy is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square divided by R into minus 1 by 2. So this reason the total energy is equal to minus 1 divided by 2 into 4, 8 pi epsilon naught ZE square divided by R. It means the total energy is equal to ZE square divided by 8 pi epsilon naught into R. So this one is a total energy for a stable orbit. Take one screenshot. So in Rutherford atomic model you already know that. And next one, merits and demerits of a Rutherford atomic model. The first one we consider that a merits of a Rutherford atomic model. It means it could explain large alpha scattering angle. It's a large angle of alpha scattering. It could explain. Another one, so limitation or demerits of this Rutherford atomic model. The first one, so this Rutherford atomic model could not explain stability of an atom. Could not explain stability of an atom. Why? Because, so Rutherford thought that suppose electron revolving around the orbit Yes, so in a revolution of this electron, so this electron loses its energy and finally comes to or fall in a nucleus. He thought that. Yes, so this reason it could not explain stability of an atom. And another one, it could not explain emission of a spectral lines. It could not explain emission of a spectral lines. So these two we consider that demerits of a Rutherford atomic model. Yes. Okay, dear students. Next one, we consider that postulates of a Bohr's theory. Okay, in postulates of a Bohr's theory, you already know that Rutherford atomic model. The same way here we consider that postulates of a Bohr's theory or Bohr's postulates. Okay, the first one, electron revolving around the nucleus in a particular orbit. Okay, so electron revolving around the nucleus in a particular orbit. So in this orbit, so this electron does not loses its energy, does not emits any energy. Yes, it does not emits any transition energy when electron revolving in a particular orbit. Is the first of our postulates, electron revolving around the nucleus in a particular orbit. In that orbit, so this electron does not emit any transition energy. When electron emits a transition energy, when electron traveling from outermost orbit to innermost orbit or higher energy level to lower energy level, in that time electron loses its energy. It means emits a transition energy. So that's when we consider that a h nu. Yes, but when electron revolving around the nucleus in particular orbit, it does not emit any transition energy. So this one is a first postulates of a Bohr's theory. And the second postulates, angular momentum, MVR. Angular momentum is always integral multiple of nh divided by 2 pi. Yes, angular momentum is integral multiple of nh divided by 2 pi. Okay, so angular momentum. So here we consider that electron having a particular mass m and its velocity v and a radius of a circle r, and n we consider that a number of orbits, and h is a Planck constant. Yes, and 2 pi we consider that a constant value. So this reason angular momentum of electron is integral multiple of 2 pi. Why? Because electron revolving around the nucleus. So here we get a angular momentum. Okay. And the next one, the third one. Suppose here electron, it is present in a lower energy level. When some amount of energy given to this electron, then what happen? It is move towards the excited state. Okay, when it is moved towards the excited state, afterwards, so this electron loses its energy and come to the innermost orbital, or we consider that a lower orbit. In this situation, so this electron loses its energy. Yes. So this reason we want to calculate that energy, it means emitted energy or transmission energy, E is equal to E2 minus E1. For example, here, so this one here we consider that a ground state or a inner orbit, and here we consider that excited state or a outer orbit. Whenever electron move towards the higher orbit to lower orbit, suppose initially it is present in lower orbit and some amount of energy given to this electron, then what happens? So this electron move towards the excited state or higher orbital level. In that level, so electron present only 10 power minus 8 seconds only. It means within fraction of a second, so this electron loses its energy. So loses its energy, then comes to the ground level. Yes, it means inner orbital. So this reason, here we consider that h nu amount of energy, it means a transmission energy, E is equal to, and here excited state, it means higher energy level, higher energy orbital. So this one is E2, and this one we consider that lower energy orbit. So this one is E1. We want to calculate a transition energy, E is equal to E2 minus E1. E2 minus E1. Suppose electron present in a particular orbit, it does not emit any transition energy, but electron travel from a higher energy level to lower energy level, or outer orbital to inner orbital. So here, so this electron emits a energy, so this one is a transmission energy, E2 minus E1. E is equal to E2 minus E1. Okay, so these three we consider that Bohr's postulates.